my computer's at 76% charged the year I was born. So I just wanted to share a couple things really quickly, hopefully really quickly. So as far as the divine masculine, I've been sitting with these energies, and I know it's hard to understand. Like if you don't understand metaphysics, esoteric, people need things to be exoteric sometimes, like explained. So experience. It's the spirit expressing itself. Okay, so spirit into form. Okay, so excuse me. I wanted to give some as above so below example. So if these things are happening above, what does it look like below? So um because and I've gone back and forth too, like, well, was I awakened first or was he awakened first? What am I Are we going to be ready at the same time? Am I ready and I'm waiting for him? I mean I mean my truth, I feel like, yes, I was awakened first as far as the twin flame thing, but he could have been more spiritually aware before me. Even though way back when I was young I was, and I think I just kind of shut everything down because I was like, go to school, get a job, work, have a boyfriend, blah, 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 whatever. so so yeah, it's just kind of convoluted and confusing as to all that if you're trying to figure. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I was just like, some people are going through that phase and they want to know, like, not necessarily when union's going to happen, but how is it all going to play out? Like, am I going to be sitting waiting in the wings, like I'm ready, or I'm on stage and I'm ready, I'm in the play, I'm ready to go, and he's waiting in the wings, waiting to come in, or waiting for his cue, or what have you. And so I was sitting with those energies, and I thought, okay, please, God, give me a 3D example of, you know, what this kind of, how I can explain it in a physical reality kind of a way. And what I kept seeing was, like your typical stereotypical, but it's kind of, it rings true too. But of course, anything that rings true, the dark, they like to exploit, because then it's easier to trick you, manipulate you, because there is some truth to it. So that's what pulls you in. Okay, so let's not get off on a tangent there. But so I just kept seeing getting ready for a date, like you see in movies all the time. Like, but in that movie, As Good as It Gets, it was Helen Hunt. She was waiting for the man, right? While he was taking a shower and taking forever to. So, you know, it's just like. But stereotypically, it's the woman, okay, that takes a long time to get ready. And the man can get ready really quickly. But that represents the energy. So the woman is the water, right? The man is the fire, the electric. Okay, and the woman is the water, the magnetic. So it takes us longer to warm up. It takes us longer to cool down. We're the water. We flow slower. Okay, electricity is like boom, immediate, right? Like the speed of light. That's electricity. Boom. So we had to, as the feminine, we had to awaken first. We had, because it's a longer, slower, waterier, more watery process. Okay, so they're processing things in a more mental way. So that's a lot faster. Okay, when we have mental stuff, but we have a lot of emotional. I mean, the men. Okay, just as far as the feminine energy. Okay, now it's like the masculine energy is. That's why it seems like boom, boom, boom. Because the feminine, it was a longer, waterier process. I don't feel as emotional, even though every once in a while I'll have like this. It's just kind of like a lonely angst, like you will see a beautiful tree or mountain, and it's just so majestic and overwhelming. It just it feels like your heart's expanding. I think that's what is happening with a lot of those tears that'll just come on, and it feels like your heart's clenching, but it's expanding, and you're very conscious of your breath, and the tears are like these tears of joy, like just overwhelming beauty. Just like in that movie American Beauty, that scene where they're watching the plastic bag. He made that film and it's just so beautiful seeing the effects of the wind. Okay, so these things are just expanding our heart. We're seeing the majesty in these things. So anyway, so the feminine, okay, in both twins, okay, so the feminine in both twins is, this is how I'm seeing it, is that had to awaken, bring stuff up, purge, heal, come full circle, all that, okay? Now it's like the masculine, and it's like boom, boom, boom. We're processing like this mental stuff, and I personally don't feel like it's a lot of mental stuff, like research and talking and like networking with other twins right now and stuff. This collective it's more of this like mental getting it together, kind of getting it together mentally. So we're getting it together emotionally, getting all our ducks in a row, so to say, and now we're doing that mentally. Okay, so any debris there, okay, and so it's like the getting ready for a date. The woman takes a lot longer, right? So she starts to get ready first. It's not like he starts to get ready at the same time she does. We know he only takes 20 minutes to get ready. She takes an hour. So she has to start, or so he starts, 40 minutes into her preparation. So they both only have 20 more minutes, and they'll both be ready at the same exact time. So that's how I'm seeing it. That's the image I kept getting was, he just got done getting ready. He comes into the room as she's just coming out of, the bathroom, just putting on that last swipe of lipstick or whatever. And it's like, boom, perfect divine timing. So that's why it might have seemed like it's taken, us women a lot longer, or the ones who embody the feminine. So, and then now it feels like we're kind of revisiting things, but it's like, a lot of up, and then crash, crash, crash fatigue, and that's mental stuff, because that's what I do, like when I'm on a high of like synchronicities and God keeps giving me download. Like sometimes I'll just have those nights, sometimes a few nights in a row where it's just like research and dreams happening and all this stuff, and then I'll be like boom, and sleep for like 12 hours or whatever, like I did last night. I don't even know. I fell asleep while it was still sunny outside, I believe, and then I got up when it was, I don't know, like 7, almost 8 o'clock. So it's like, and what I'm feeling also, so what I'm feeling we're doing as we're processing the masculine mental energy is things that comfort us during that process. So sleep is the number one thing, right? And food. So like all the sleep I've been getting, like I'll be like up, and then crash, crash, crash. So, and then I'll want to eat like really high fat, high sugar, high comfort level foods. Okay. But then I also want to go on a walk for miles and miles. So these things that seem like they're kind of extreme behaviors out of the normal for us, or what, it's because we're holding also this okay, so this heart space that we're holding, this compassion. So we're doing things to comfort. Okay, just like when someone's sick, you know, or they're lonely, you go on a walk with them, or you eat food that reminds you of times where you were happy and felt safe, or what. And then the sleep and rest is just like, oh, I'm in a sacred space where I could just relax and not have people bothering me, whatever. So whatever you can give to your divine masculine right now. So getting out and getting on those long walks to absorb the majesty of like the trees, the mountains, seeing the wind move stuff, just being one with God's source. Okay, so that's my most comfortable place to be, is just with God, with nature. That's where I feel safe, enveloped, welcomed, loved. The animals really respond to me. Nature just really, that communication, it's instant. There's no interference or no, so that's very a comfort food for my soul. And then rest, of course, is like, I love just resting, relaxation. I don't have anything to do. I do have to do a reading today for the Twin Flame Weekly, but just not have to, but I think that's why I've been doing it more regularly lately, because these are mental, more masculine energies that we're processing. So they can kind of be a little bit more foreign to us, whereas the feminine energy that we were processing, purging, all that, yeah, it was really hard and difficult, but we understood it more because it was emotional, right? It was the watery. So now it's the fiery. And so just, if you crave something, eat it. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you want to sleep for 12 hours, do it. Find a way to give yourself these comforts during this time. And that's going to help to get your divine masculine through this without having meltdowns. So, or maybe just little mini quick ones. And then, because we're mirrors and we're the same soul, and there's no way to sever that connection, that cord, that tie, that there's no way to dull it. There's no way, you can try to turn around and turn your back on it, and what happens? It's just like when a rope's attached to, so you turn around and it just pulls the other one in closer to you and pulls the rope tighter, right? And then you're just all tangled up in a rope, and then you have to do all that unwinding and then pull it back in the right way. So you're just backtracking. So, but I understand that's part of the process too. I had to go through that, turn around and feel that pull to where it, it was killing me. Every time I turned my back on the twin flame thing, I would get so sick. Pushing that away is not what God wants for me, obviously. So that's a big surrender, is surrendering to the divine will. Not just the process and the twin flame path, but surrendering to divine will. Because when you do that, then you're just like surrendered to whatever. You don't need to, that's complete surrender. So I talked about the comfort, the awakening of like getting ready for a date and the timing of that, the watery and the fiery. So why that's different. And there's something because this feeling of like, if you want to call it the new earth and old earth coexisting at the same time, and as we're emerging into the next, it's like we still have our foot kind of in the old world as we're coming into the new world, because it's just like you're walking. We're not hopping, we're walking, right? So as we're putting our other foot down, the foot that was just down is raising up. So as we take strides, okay, it's this gradual thing. We're not completely in something until we're completely out of something else, and then there's this transition period. And I was trying to think of a 3D example of that as well, like as above, so below, right? So this oneness, how is it represented? This duality, how is it represented, like in a tangible form? Like, not just dynamics, these are concepts, sociology and all these things, like real tangible, like geological, like a rock. Like I want to, and and I know the black goo thing, but someone recently interviewed him. I forget the guy's name. He's an older guy with gray hair, man, very divine masculine. And he's interviewing little Harold Kurzweiler. I say little because compared to this guy, he just seems like this little skinny little German guy. But so he's a independent researcher and scientist, and so you know, there's people who have they've more honed their gifts as far as like you know, in an etheric way. But scientists do that too. So it's, I don't know, they just have their minds geared a little bit more the masculine. So he like does the science and all that stuff, you know. And I'm more like, I'm not saying a pair. I'm just saying women tend to be more like the tarot card readers, the energy workers, the healers, that okay, and the men are more like the scientists, you know, get your website for your healing services together for you and that kind of thing, okay? That's the masculine mental electric. So so in this recent, I just happened to come across, it said in the title, update for March 2017, something like that, with Harold Kurzweil. I forget the name of the guy who's interviewing him, the name of the channel, but March update, Harold Kurzweil, and you can find it. It's not that long. It might be an hour, a half hour to an hour and a half. I can't remember, but he briefly mentions the black goo, and because he just talks about it briefly, he explains it just really concisely, precisely. And so what he was saying is how there's like a Mother Earth black goo that has unity consciousness and it has empathy, okay? And then there's this alien black goo that lacks empathy and it has dualistic consciousness. So it's this black goo that holds the consciousness for this, you know, this group, this orb, this whatever, this grouping of consciousness. Okay, it's dualistic. It lacks empathy. But the one that's the Mother Earth goo, like I said, is of unity consciousness and has empathy. And I don't want to get too far into it, but he mentions how, and you can find it out for yourself. I don't know how, I didn't research it to, you know, see how true it was, but he seems pretty legit to me. But they said that there was he was talking about I believe it was a rifle, it was a gun manufacturing plant. So I don't know if it was rifles or whatever, but they made guns there. It was a gun manufacturing plant, and these people were kind of like going crazy, like killing themselves. It was like enough people to where it was a phenomenon. Like they knew there was some kind of energy vortex, something, okay? What they figured out was that the Mother Earth black goo, and I know this sounds crazy and everything, but as above, so below. I'm trying to figure out the tangible form. If this if there's dualistic mentality, it has to be represented in a tangible form. It can't just be like, oh, societal dynamics. It has to be tangible, okay? Because that's still ethereal, because it's still really mental, even though you can see it played out, but it's not an actual substance that contains this, okay? So, just like sacred geometry, it can be conceptual, but then you can actually see it in a rock, right? It's not just a conceptual thing, a dynamic, interrelational thing that happens between two people and they communicate. I mean, it's a tangible, has to be tangible, okay? Third dimensional. And so, what was happening with these people killing themselves, what they came to find out was that they were going like mental out of their mind, because a super uber consciously aware what they call like a energy kept making them focus on like what they're doing was wrong. Like they're making guns of what the guns would end up doing. Like I think he said something like they were having visions of what the guns ultimately ended up doing, and they were seeing children murdered and all this crazy stuff. Okay, because the Mother Earth Black Goo was trying to tell them, look, because Mother loves you, wants you to see what you're doing wrong and how it hurts people. It's not to say, see what a bad person you are. And that's what the mirror thing is with the twins. That's the love of Mother. It's a tough love too. It's not going to let you hold on to stuff that's bullshit, that isn't true, that it isn't good. If it hurts you or anybody else, Mother's going to make sure you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, Mom's going to make sure you know what you're doing, right? That's Mother's job, is to make sure that people are interacting in a conscious way with Earth, with each other, with themselves. That's the nurturing. So, this is where discernment comes in. We have to think. We can't just be like, oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, I'm having these horrible nightmares. Analyze it. Write down what your dream is about. This is what I'm saying with these Black Mirror examinations. And it's funny because I didn't even know that was a show on Netflix, because I don't watch TV or Netflix. And I think I mentioned this in another video, but I was watching a random video and he mentions it, and this was like something when I was watching InfoWars. One of the guys on there has his own channel, and out of all the ones on his channel, I watched that, and he mentions Black Mirror on Netflix. I'm like, what? I heard of something like that from is David Icke, is that his name? And when he was talking about his DMT trip, something about a shimmery blackness or something, but that I never heard of a show called Black Mirror. So that was very interesting. See, we're connected, and we don't need to communicate on the computer or phone or TV or whatever. We're connected and we're communicating, okay? As above, so below. So we're communicating up there, it's coming down into 3D, and it happens through the computer, the phone, everything, all right? So discernment is very important, because with discernment comes clarity, and with clarity dissolves doubt and confusion. Because even if it's not a pretty picture, at least you can see things clearly, and that element of doubt, because doubt, if you're holding on to doubt and confusion, that stems from fear, because that's a negative, low vibrational energy. Okay, so you're not saying love-based. So that's what letting go of doubt, fear. Okay, so we're letting go of fear by letting go of doubt, letting go of confusion. So discernment brings the clarity, and the clarity dissolves doubt, confusion. So we just, every fear-based thing that comes up, dissolve, get back into heart space. Fear-based, whatever comes up, dissolve it, get back into heart space. So something uncomfortable comes up, we have to examine this so that we can dissolve it, get back into heart space. Because whatever comes up is going to bring up some kind of fear-based emotion. So, and those make you stay stuck. When you're in love base, when you're stuck in love base, you're not stuck, because you're constantly flowing. You're in the moment. You're in the now. You're flowing. You're expanding. There's no stuckness. There's no stickiness. There's still no stagnation. So I think I covered it, the black goo and the how that ties into discernment, and well, that's part of the infection, this alien black goo, and whatever you want to call alien, whatever. It's not from God, I know that. But everything's from God, you know what I mean? But there's only the other side of it, and that dualistic nature of God, because God wants the light to be a choice. right? It's like there is no free will when you surrender to God. You just have to be obedient to God. But the choice is whether you want to surrender to God or not. And if you're chosen to do certain things, and we all are chosen to do certain things, some might be doctors, lawyers, but they have to be what God has destined for them. There are some people who actually love being a lawyer and who have helped a lot of people. And okay, so not everyone hates their job just because it's they work in a factory or whatever, you know. So um, there might actually be beautiful business owners who treat their clients well and care about customer service, and you know. So and I see we're getting back. This is so weird. I saw a commercial for like it was like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, something or other, and they were talking about how they were making clearly labeled things so you can see the calorie content. They're making serving sizes smaller with I mean more. Okay, yeah, they're still selling sugar and crap, but even like we can consciously get. I mean, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, all this stuff. It didn't start out when they first started out. Even when they were booming in the very beginning, they didn't have all these just crap. Okay, we used to have the same foods back in the day that now contain, and it's the same label, same brand, and now they contain all these chemical components and preservatives. That's the word I was trying to find. So, you know, we can still have our, you know, little comfort foods and getting fast food sometimes or having a Coke or whatever, and it's like we're not just transmuting twin flames. I mean, we're really transmuting everything. And the thing is about the new earth, it's like everything will kind of look, feel, and be the same. They're still going to have Coca-Cola, McDonald's, but even those things are being transmuted. I'm seeing even those things start to become transmuted. You know, Walmart, free 2-day shipping. There's just different things that are happening where they're thinking more about their customers. They're thinking more about health. And yeah, I mean, they can't just say, okay, there's no more Walmart and getting stuff from China. I mean, come on. I mean, we have to transition, right? We can't just be demanding little children. I want to know. I'm going to starve to death. I want to know. My tummy is grumbling. So yeah, and there's people who, you know, fast for 5 days. You can't wait 5 minutes for me to finish making a sandwich. I mean, because this is kind of an American thing too, or a Western culture kind of a thing. So, but it wasn't always. Back in the wild west, we couldn't have instant. We had to grow our garden. We had to build our home. You know, so we're not gonna be everyone all the way there right now. We're transitioning, okay. But I'm seeing little bits and pieces of it here and there. Yeah, and they're still doing the AI, but we can even transmute that, okay, to where AI and all this is gonna go in a direction to where, you know, I don't know, people in wheelchairs will be able to, you know, dance with their husband or wife for their 30th anniversary or something. You know, some beautiful things can come out of this if that's where we focus our energies, our thoughts, our feeling. If we focus on that, that's what we'll anchor. That's the spirit that we'll bring into form. We'll anchor it, we'll call in those energies, we'll channel those energies through us and anchor that. Okay, if you put it out into the collective conscience, then it's there in the Akash or whatever you want to call it, the halls of Amenti, and then anyone can access that. So that we need to overload the halls of Amenti with solution-oriented thoughts, with love-based everything. So there's just a wealth of knowledge in that library for anything, everyone to tap into. So, you know, We're getting off of this oppositional conditioning of, being against the government and being against this and this. Okay, in all aspects. It's not even us against them. They want to condition us into that too. So they start off, they do black and white and men against women and rich against poor and da 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 da. Okay. So we have to dissolve that completely. Okay? Dissolve it completely. And there's no fight. If we're all one, we are the people in the government. Okay, we need to stop saying, oh, this is evil and no. It's been manipulated out of what it first intended to be. Look at just the history of McDonald's. It started off as just a guy running a hamburger place, and people loved it, and that's why it got so popular. And then it gets all distorted and fucked up, right? Just like everything. So we need to bring it back. Bring it back to authentic core source. Original ignition is what I've called it in my writings. Just that first spark, okay? When things were pure. Okay, that doesn't mean we need to scale back and make it small, but bring it back to its original essence. Okay, so clearing out all the debris, all the distortion, how it's been manipulated and bastardized. Okay, so it's been removed from its mother, right? It's like, remember where you came from, that kind of a thing. Like, get back to where you once belonged. All these different things are coming into my head, and then I also wanted to share one last thing before I get off here, because it's a half hour. So on the bus yesterday, or was it the day before? Yeah. I heard, I'm going to have to find the link and I'll post it in the description box. But sorry, I'm not trying to sing right now. But on the wings of love, only the two of us together flying high. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't it. Oh, no, that was from Divine Love Crystal Grid. Now that's stuck in my head. Oh, it was a Wings of Love one now. I can't remember how. Oh, take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Learn to live so free. And when we hear the voices sing, a book of love will open up and let us in. So anyway, I'm not trying to sing right now, but that song, okay, I'm going to get a good link and post it below. And that kept going through my head. And then I heard it on the bus the other day. That's the only time, probably, unless they have it radio playing like in the grocery store or thrift store, because I don't listen to the radio. Very interestingly, the Melissa Etheridge song one time that kept going through my head and related to a dream, went into the thrift store. The next time that I had went into the thrift store, that song was playing. So this, take these broken wings and learn to fly again, learn to live so free. And when we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Because our names are already written in the book, okay? And it gets opened when it's divine timing. When things are all set up and ready. You don't let the guests start coming into the reception area until it's all set up and ready to go. All right? So, and you'll get your cue from the Masters of Ceremonies. The MC will usher you into the next phase. All right, so let the team do their work and have faith, because we don't see all that stuff that's going on. Not when we're in our waking dream anyway. So we have to trust and have faith that they're constantly just making this happen for us, you guys. Okay, so I love you all. Blessings to you all, and peace be upon you all.